got my, I have this piece of rail clamped in the front with our new clamp and stretched out. I'm using one of my Bogan grips or century stands with a grip on the end to hold the other end. You're probably not going to have something like that to deal with or have around the house. So now I can at least trim down the length, and I'll need some of this leftover down here for some bling on the end, but now I have that fitted, and now I will have to go through and mark the position that looks best and do the shaping. I need to round over the top, and I think maybe either round or bevel on the bottom edge here to make it look better. I might put a 45 in along the bottom. I'll see what happens first. I will round it, and then if it's not enough, then I will bevel it with my hand plane. And I may go ahead and go to the hardware store and get some little number 4 wood screws and drill some holes on the inside while I still have to work on the inside in order to hold them in place while the epoxy set, because I'm going to smear on a layer of Gel Magic on the outside. But I need to shape it, sand it, stain it, and I may go ahead and put a layer or 2 of epoxy on it rolled out to finish it before it goes in to be place. Then all I have to do then is use the blue tape to edge it off and then paint. Well, as the old saying goes, if it isn't another thing, it's one thing. So one thing we have to do now is make the bling on the transom, which is going to be a little arch to give it some character. It could go straight across, but that's kind of plain. And so I thought, well, I'll do the arch. And I was debating whether or not to resaw a thicker piece of Marenti or else make it up in sections. So I think I'm going to make it up in sections just to save wood for the earth. So what I did was I laid out the bling on top of this board here, and then I covered, you can see how shiny it is, I covered the board with shipping tape so the epoxy won't stick to it. So now I'm going to mix up some Gel Magic and edge glue the pieces that I've cut out. As you can see in here, I've got sections cut out to put in, so let me go ahead and mix up some Gel Magic and get that done. I mean, it's one of those things that maybe somebody might put off for a while, but it's only going to take me about probably 5 minutes to whip up the epoxy and put together, so let's go do it. One of the things you want to do too is mark the ends of where the glue goes. You don't want to glue the whole thing. And it also take some sandpaper on a flat surface and rub it back and forth so that you have a good clean edge. And the thing I like about Gel Magic and this Utah tube with this little the fang nozzle on it, if I just need just a tiny little bit in my cup, that's all I get. So let me go ahead and mix this up, and we'll come back as I. Okay, we're just going to put a little bit on the edge. It doesn't take a whole lot, and try to keep it off the good side, which will be this side. We'll put a layer of 6-ounce cloth on the back to give it some strength. Okay. And then put it down and line it up and kind of give it a little bit of wiggle side to side, and you can see how it's coming up. Get it into position. I marked some lines on it already on the sides. Let me come back in for a closer look. Set it in place. I don't need that. More of that. And you can use it for this. little pre-planning, which I didn't do. There. I just need something to hold it in place. I need to come back and check it out with a straight edge. Okay, I got some little blocks in here. There's no epoxy along here, so I don't have to worry about putting any visqueen in there. Just get the little bastard to set there. Okay. I'll let that set overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and take it out of the clamps and flip it over and put some 6-ounce cloth on it on the back side, and then wet that out. We'll just use a wet out coat because I want some weave in there for the Gel Magic when I attach it to the hull to grab a hold of. Well, I've got the two pieces epoxied on. It's, you know, butter up one side, butter up the other side, come back butter it again, and then place them. And I was able to use my new clamp we just made earlier to hold down the bottom part. Otherwise I would have had to use some screws that I would have had to come back later and fill. No, if I had some 3/8 inch pins, I would have probably maybe pin nailed it in place. But got my new clamps up here holding these guys in place, and then the big one on the bottom. So tomorrow we'll pop all that off and shape everything, and that's one less thing we have to worry about on the inside. So I've got the it's out of the clamps. I got it flipped over on the back side. I've already taken the plane and some sandpaper and cleaned up both sides. But now I want, on the back side, I'm going to put in a layer of 6-ounce cloth just to give it a little bit more strength for when I'm messing around with it. I don't want the glue line to break. I don't think the Gel Magic would allow that to happen, but the wood may break on either side of the Gel Magic line. So I'm going to wet out a layer of cloth in the wrong spot. Hooked my tool's got a hook on the end of it. And we're still on top of my plastic shipping tape covered piece of wood. Stay on the area. And it doesn't take much to wet it out, and that's all I'm going to do it. I'm not going to weave fill it. Well, I got a hook on here somewhere. There it is. Do as I say, not as I do. Always check your edge with sandpaper. I got a little divot here. Thought it was clean. It's the back side. Okay.